October 26th
Yeah.
as we record. Have you been watching any of the games so far tonight?
I didn't watch any. I'm not watching any of the Bucks game. I'm watching some
Yeah.
basketball.
Oh, cool. Yeah, basketball's back. You get to watch any of Wemby at all?
I
I
was
did myself.
last night. I didn't get this. I didn't get
Yeah.
much yet, but I saw that. I guess he for his debut scored and had the same amount of rebounds Duncan did.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
I think the same shooting percentage too.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting to see what's going to happen with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Steelers had the Rams last week. Finished off that game. Nice win. 24-17.
Yeah.
I guess we can just go to takeaways there. What are you feeling from that game?
They definitely had a better second half. The first half just looked like the regular first couple games of the season. I was thinking, well, maybe they didn't make any adjustments at bye week. I didn't know, but they came back in the second half, and they definitely, like you said last week, they had some sacks for sure against the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was about 3 or 4 they had. T with an interception, always making a play. Thank goodness for Brett Maher, for missing all that. He missed that like 7 points he missed from that game, so
that's a different game.
Yeah, it's a different game at that point, George Pickens had some good plays. Kenny looked a little bit better in the second half for sure. Actually, Matt Canada fired up. Now
it's a game now. He's our Taylor Swift. I feel like instead of shots to Taylor, we get shots to Matt Canada in the booth. That's how we're looking at. That's how I'm looking at this now.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think the same.
He's gonna start having touchdown dances with whoever else is in that booth.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because it's like, man, you watch those Chief games. It's just every time they talk about Travis Kelce, they're showing Taylor Swift up in the box, and then they're always talking about Matt Canada every time. Always
you see him in the box.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, the way the season's going, all the crowd noise, he has to be playing up to that camera now. As a human, knowing that there's a camera right in your face, knowing how much everyone hates your guts. All the flack he got for the non-celebration on the game.
I know. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Now it's like, I got to do something because this camera's right here. Game now. Yeah, but I think they had a better second half for sure. They definitely looked like a better team, and we got the win. It wasn't as pretty as we wanted, but it was a good win, definitely for the Steelers.
Mm-hmm. I liked what Johnson bring. Deontay Johnson coming back, I think, changed a lot for that offense. Early on, I don't know if you noticed it, but Najee seemed a lot more fired up and more energized, talking to defensive players more and getting up. And I don't know if that's something he got challenged on by Tomlin, or if he took it upon himself during the bye week. I thought he had a lot more energy. Both backs, I think, did pretty well. There's still struggles with the offensive line, but they played a lot better, I think, also, especially Dan Moore. I guess we can go into. I think I'm going to talk about him a little later, more specifically. What I liked what he did. TJ's interception, the turning point in the game for sure. I was talking to my dad about it, and I mentioned that he looked like a DB out there on that catch, on that pick. And he made the comment that, and then he looked like a fullback when he was running that ball back. He just looked like a natural, like, big power back on the way in. You mentioned Kenny. I think, Kenny played well. And just the offense in general, there weren't points early on, but it just felt different. I don't know if it was Johnson. I don't know if it was play calling, but I wasn't going to say it out loud as they're scoring 3 points in the first half. But in my mind, I didn't think I thought there were good signs in the first half. I don't know if I would have bet they would come out and score 21 in the second half, but I liked what I saw, and I think there's some sustainability to the improvements in offense. But I do have some concerns about the sustainability of the defense because there were a lot of runs up the middle during that game where They were picking up 9 yards on first down and stuff. That is concerning, and they're almost like I don't know, a baseball analogy of like a 3 true outcomes hitter, which is like a guy who'll smack home runs, take walks, and strike out. And when they're hot, they're amazing. But when they're striking out, you start to worry about whether or not they're even a pro player at all. But TJ's always there, so it's insane to think that they could be sustainable the way they are. But with the pass defense and the rush defense, I think are in the bottom half of the league. But I bet you a lot of people would put that defense in the top 10 overall. So it's weird.
Yeah, I got some stats from that game. I just want to kind of real quick. So, final score is 24-17, Steelers over the Rams. So the total yards that I noticed, so we had 300 total yards and the Rams had 354. First downs, we had 17, Rams had 19. Our rushing yards, 86 compared to 135 to the Rams. Maybe a little bit of concern there from the running defense, but it just seems like we're giving up a lot of yards on the ground, like you were saying. I'm a little concerned for that defense too, but I think they still played well. Here's one that I was kind of shocked with the passing yards. Pittsburgh 214 and the Rams 219, which is pretty close there, evenly matched there with quarterbacks passing the ball. It looked early on like Matt Stafford was going to have a big game passing with that against our pass defense. I mean, it just didn't look like they were stopping Puka, and thank goodness for Cooper Kupp dropping a couple balls. You just don't know what could have happened in that game. Third down efficiency, we were 4 of 12 and the Rams were 9 of 16. It did seem like for a while in that first half it was just 3 and out, and we weren't getting a first down at all. 0 turnovers to our 1 that we got against them. And then time of possession is almost pretty equal. 28 minutes and 14 seconds for the Steelers and 31 minutes and 46 seconds for the Rams. So, I mean, we definitely need to improve a little bit with the running game and definitely the passing game. But overall, like you said, it was a decent game. Maybe more adjustments are coming with the trade deadline coming up. So, who knows what's going to happen moving forward. But overall, decent game for the Steelers.
Yeah, I think so too. And going to those stats, they ended up even, but before the last 20 minutes, they were definitely swaying the Rams away for sure. I remember during the game them talking about Nakua pretty much matching the offensive output for the Steelers. But that last 20 minutes, that they can play with anyone if they can play like that for a sustained period of time. But that's all. They just need to get the consistency going, and then they should be good, I think. Let's move on to the trade deadline a little bit. I guess we'll start. What positions do you think the Pirates? Well, trade deadline baseball has got me all messed up. But now football has been. I don't know if you remember back in maybe even 5 years ago, maybe less than that. The trade deadline would be like week 6.
Yeah, I think that's what it was back then. Yeah,
and there was not many trades at all, but there's a lot more activity in the game now that is later. Like Denver seems like they're going to be doing a full sale. But what positions do you think the Steelers should consider upgrading?
I think offensive line, maybe a player or two if possible, maybe just one. Definitely somebody in the secondary. I think a corner as well, and maybe even a defensive lineman. And I know that Cam Hayward's still injured. I think I saw that he's back up off of.
So now today I think it happened. He'll have they have 21 days.
Yeah.
To bring him back in, and if I think it's a good. It's fair to say he'll be back within those 21 days because if you're not back, then you have to go on to the IR for the rest of the year. So they definitely expect him back within the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I saw that he was practicing, but I think maybe in that time frame we might need to pick somebody up as well, just in case while we're waiting for him to come back. And if he doesn't make it back, I mean, it'd be good to just pick up a player. But I think maybe somebody on the offensive line, defensive line, a cornerback, and I would even almost say somebody to substitute Allen Robinson, to be honest, wide receiver. I know Deontay Johnson's back and George Pickens is pretty good. And we have Calvin Austin as well, but I think maybe another receiver would be beneficial as well.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of positions. I think tight end's another spot with the uncertainty with Freiermuth. And I think that's somewhere you can bring a guy in who doesn't have to be a superstar that can make a little bit of a difference. My worry with like an offensive line move would be that the issue I've been talking about meshing together. You're going to throw another variable in there. And I think there were improvements this past week. I think they stepped up a little bit. Hopefully, it was with the bye, and there was changes made there that could be sustainable. I keep using sustainable. I guess that's the word of the week. Secondary is another place that I think for sure they need to look to an upgrade. Cornerback, even more specifically. I think receiver is a weird spot too. They definitely could use one, and receivers are a position that, especially when you're not talking about like an elite guy, where you can fill in, you can find someone to fill in and take some routes and away from Allen Robinson. Then, I think you're right on there. And then, but if I had to pick a position, I think it would be like a tight end, not like an elite tier tight end, someone on the someone to fill in, because I'm worried about Freiermuth coming back and hurt again, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I saw somebody made up like a fake trade deadline thing, and they were saying we should pick up Jarvis Landry to replace Allen Robinson.
What's he been up to? I don't even know.
I don't even think he's playing.
Okay.
I know he's on the Browns, but I don't think he's.
Yeah. I don't remember him seeing him too much. Yeah.
I'd even almost say, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I'd almost even say maybe even pick up a backup quarterback, to be honest, because we've talked about how Trubisky and Rudolph are not the go-tos moving forward. I'd almost say maybe just a backup, to be honest, as well.
Yeah, I would just be concerned about getting them up with the offense mid-season. I think it's a little tougher, and I think Mitch is good enough to be a backup. If there's a scenario where you can get someone who's great and on the cheap, which it's tough to find a team that's willing to give up a player like that. And how, like, the type of player I think you can get a trade is probably equivalent to like someone who's currently a free agent that you can bring in like to your practice squad for a couple of weeks and get them up to speed. So I would, me personally, I would stay away from QB for now. We bash them, but my bashing is more from the starter standpoint. I just don't see Trubisky or Rudolph as a starter, but I would have no problem with them coming in for a game or two.
Yeah, I got you.
Necessary. Speaking of like rumors and stuff, I think the biggest dream scenario would be Pat Surtain from the Broncos.
Yeah, I think I heard that one as well. There's some rumor going on. I don't be pretty cool, nice cornerback to pick up. We'll see what happens.
I think that it's so comparable to Minka.
Yeah.
Where if you can get a young all-pro, I'm willing to give up any like the draft capital. It's you're picking these. I think he's 23 years old. You're picking up a first rounder. I'll give up a first rounder to get a guy who's already an all-pro at 23. I think there's a lot of times teams overvalue these first round picks because but you're drafting, instead of drafting one, you're getting one through the trade. It's not, there's no difference. I probably would be willing to do a first and a second or something similar to that, because he's a great player and it's an upgrade, and it's an upgrade for the rest of his career, because the Steelers are going to keep him. They're not going to, and he's on the cheap right now too. So
we'll see what happens. I hope to pick him up. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it seems too good to be true, and there would be a lot of suitors if they're giving him away. But apparently, everyone's open for Denver right now. That's what some of the reports are. They got a couple receivers too, Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. But I don't know. if
I don't know.
they're willing to play with
Yeah.
him either. Sticking with the trade deadline stuff, how about we have a little bit of fun, I guess, with just a dream scenario of guys. If you were told tomorrow the Steelers you can turn on forced trades on Madden, I guess we can say, and pick any non QB that you would like the Steelers to pick up that would like fill in well for what we got going on right now.
Oh man.
QB's the obvious. That's why I'm taking QBs out because it's obvious. If you can get Patrick Mahomes, you're taking Patrick Mahomes. It's not a question. And that's not a knock on Kenny. That's just the reality of football. Quarterback position is the key. But that's why I took that out.
I know there's been a little bit of controversy. I think Stephon Diggs would be a nice pickup on
wide receiver. Yeah, that's a nice player.
I think there's been a little bit of controversy with him in the Bills. It'd be a nice little pickup.
I'm giving you free reins, though. They don't even have to have controversy with anyone. They could be the happiest.
Anybody.
Complete. They get anyone you want. Yeah.
Tyreek Hill would be nice.
I didn't even think of Tyreek Hill. Yeah, that's such a game breaker.
Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce would be a great tight end to pick up.
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner from the Jets, nice corner. And maybe even Aaron Donald would be nice as well on the line.
Yeah. A couple names you didn't mention. I think Fred Warner might be the best linebacker in the league, and if you can get him, that's a guy I would definitely want to take.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I think that if you remember back in the day, there was always the Polamalu and Reed debate. Yeah. The new debate within this division is the Myles Garrett, TJ Watt debate.
Oh, yeah.
So with all the controversy, with all the Rudolph stuff, if you can pick anyone right now, Myles Garrett might be the answer, even with how great Alex Highsmith is. They'll figure it out. They'll figure out a way to play them all at the same time, rotate them in. So, I would go Fred Warner, I think, just because our linebackers have been fine, but we don't have that game breaker in the middle that he could be. Micah Parsons is another name, I guess we should say, if we're going to just throw out players. But those are two. And then I do have Kelce down just because I think tight end is a spot where they need something. And he's so much better. I think he's a level above every other tight end in the league still as he gets older. And then Aaron Donald's like the same type of way with those two. I thought this would be fun to do here is make out some apologies to some people after that win. I think we've been a little rough lately on the team. We gave our grades out. We gave a lot of D's. We gave a lot of C's and F's to some people. So if you're ready for an apology to anyone, you can go first, but I can do one myself if not.
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
Okay, I'm going to apologize to this is a call. I probably should have said someone else, but I'm gonna go Deontay Johnson because I think he showed why he is considered a Pro Bowl or why he is considered a great player because I just think he made all the difference in the passing game. There was more passes over the middle. There was more just openness to the offense. I think, especially at the end of that game, and I think we got into this mindset early in his career about the drops, but like he doesn't even have, if you look at the numbers, he does not have a drop problem. It was just big time moments where he was dropping the ball, and I think he's a great player and we've not given him the credit he needs. So I'm going to apologize personally to Deontay Johnson to start us off.
I mean, this is tough for me because I'm still not.
I can go. I think I can go. But there's a couple people I'm not ready to apologize for that did show something this week.
Yeah.
Dan Moore was great.
I'll say a little bit to. Dan Moore. I'll say a little bit to Najee. I'll do a little bit.
Yeah, Najee gonna apologize.
I think he definitely had a better game. What you were seeing in the beginning, and I think you might be right. During the bye, he might have been like, maybe somebody fired him up and he was a little more fired up and ready to play. Because just wasn't seeing much from him, and he definitely had a lot of positive yards and a lot of yards after the tackle for sure. Um, I think I give him a little bit of an apology. He's still young. I think he's still trying to find his groove, and it's not all just his fault. The line isn't blocking, not a lot of blocking going on for him. So, but he definitely had a better game against the Rams. I think he scored his first touchdown of the season in that game. So I think I want to give him a little bit of apology because it's not all his fault. As we've seen in that game, there was a lot of better blocking. He was making a lot more plays.
So yeah, my next apology will be to Patrick Peterson. I just was so down on the team in general that there's more to the game than just on the field. I think off the field, his experience and everything, his willingness to give Joey Porter some more shine. He played all over the field that game. He moved inside. He played. I think he played a little bit more in safety over the middle. But I was just so focused on the fact that that name has all that recognition of being this elite corner on the outside. But there's more to the game than just that. And I think he played a good game for them and has more value than I give him credit for.
Yeah. Again, there's still a lot that I'm not ready to apologize.
Yeah.
I think I have to give an apology to Deontay Johnson as well. I've always kind of bagged him. I always thought that he wasn't really that guy. I was thinking like, man, there's a lot of times over the years I'm like, this guy needs to go. Trade him. He's not elite. All the drops, but I think you're right. Looking at the numbers, it's not really a lot of drops. He's definitely improved over the seasons. Coming back was definitely in that game against the Rams was big time. And like you said, we got to see why he really is a Pro Bowler. He made a lot of plays and he opened the field up a little bit more for the receivers and for Kenny. And I think that having him back really helped our offense move a little bit more down the field, especially in the second half. So, I think I do want to give him an apology. I just hope that he stays on this good trajectory and keeps moving forward as a good Pro Bowler wide receiver.
So, two guys I'm going to mention that I'm not ready to apologize to, but I think they did show a lot of improvement. And number one is Dan Moore. I was all about putting Broderick Jones in the game, but if I'm not an expert when it comes to offensive line play, but he got good grades from people that consider themselves experts in that game, and I didn't notice any poor play from him at all. And it was so obvious how bad he's been. So I think it's fair to say that he must have had an improvement. But that one game isn't enough to recover how I feel about him for the previous 6 games or 5 games. And but I'm willing to listen now. I'm willing to see what he has to show me in the next few weeks. Yeah, you have to give some trust to the coaching staff who thinks he should be the starter. And then the next name is Matt Canada. I think he did show a little more life in the box as we saw, but also the play calling was, I think, a lot better. It seemed like there was attempts to make changes, even in the first half they didn't work. Like I was saying, I feel like it looked different. It felt different to me in the first half, even without the success. And then the second half, everything was clicking, and they just looked great for that last 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not ready to apologize to the offensive line yet. I need to see more. I'm not ready to apologize to Patrick Peterson either. I need more plays, and I'm not ready to apologize to Matt Canada. It's only one game. I need to see more.
Yep. I understand completely. So next week, well, now it's a couple of days from now. I shouldn't even do it next week. We got the Jags. How you feeling about that one?
I mean, I think it's going to be a decent game. if you look at that game with the Saints that they played the Saints, was it last Thursday? I think it was.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think the Saints are as good as we are. I don't. But they drove down, and at the end of the game, if that guy, the tight end, I'm not sure. I can't think of his name. He doesn't drop that ball. That game goes to overtime. I mean, I don't think the Saints are as good as us. The Jaguars are definitely a good team. They're definitely on the up and up. But I think it's going to be a good game. If our offense can go and do what we did in that second half of the Rams game, it could be a back and forth game. We could win, but I'm a little scared of that Jags defense for sure. We'll see what happens. But like I said, the Saints had them within a drop ball. That's, going overtime. Who knows who wins that game? If that guy doesn't drop it, they go to overtime. Maybe the Saints go down and score and win. You just don't know. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think it's going to be a decent game. We have a chance to win, but, when we talked about it before, this might be one of the games we lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel much better. Seeing both teams a little more for sure. I think the Jaguars, similar to Lawrence, are on their way. They're taking baby steps to be one of those contenders, for him personally to be one of those elite quarterbacks. But it is baby steps. It's not complete straight shot to contendership there. But I think they have a lot going on. Did you happen to see George Pickens' bulletin board material? I guess I was saying.
I didn't.
I didn't see that. He's getting some. He was asked about the Jags defense, and he praised their pass rush. Then he started talking about someone asked him. He was not baited, but they pushed him towards the idea that the Jags pass defense has been pretty bad lately, and it's now being called like a hope defense, where they just hope that the defensive line gets to the quarterback, because if they don't get in time, there's going to be big plays in the secondary. So,
boy.
as long as they can back it up, it'll be fine. Yeah. But it is some little bit of bulletin board material to call it a hope defense, I think, because they do have a good pass rush, which he put that over for sure. But
boy, I hope they backed it up, because seen with Patrick Peterson in the past talking crap, and then he just gets cooked.
Yeah, that was game. You know what? I honestly forgot all about that. I'm taking my apology back.
Yeah.
Sorry, Patrick. I forgot all about that. Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it should be a fun game.
Yeah. We're playing Jackson, right?
What'd you say?
No, we're playing at home.
I can check real quick. I honestly don't know off the top of my head. It's a home game. 1:00 home, CBS. Jags are currently a 2.5-point favorite, which I think is fair. Even at home, I think it's fine that we're a home dog. I wonder what the Steelers' record is as a home dog. I know Tomlin's probably pretty good. Maybe I'll add that in to the side here whenever I cut this video together.
Yeah, they definitely have a good running game. I didn't mean to cut you off real quick.
No, that's
interesting, because, like I said, the Steelers gave up over 100 yards to the Rams, and I think the Jaguars have a better running back than the Rams do. So it's going to be an interesting game against their running back. See what our ground defense can do.
Travis Etienne. I really liked him at Clemson. I don't know how much you saw him there, but it's cool. It is a cool story that him and Lawrence got to come back together in Jacksonville. He had that injury his rookie year, but I think he's going to end up being one of the elite guys in the league for sure. He's a complete back. Another thing I wanted to bring up, I saw is that the comparison between Lawrence and Kenny through 19 games is like pretty close.
Wow.
I'll in post edit I'll put it in there too. Just the stats that win-loss record. I think Kenny's above, but I mean that's not all quarterback play for sure, especially because Lawrence was a top pick in the draft, which means you're coming to a roster that's nowhere near ready to be great compared to 20th overall pick. You're coming to a team that was in playoff contention. So
and they have a new coach, Doug Peterson, right?
Doug Peterson, he came in. And I think he thrown out of Philly pretty quick for what he had accomplished, I think. But maybe there may have been something behind the scenes I can't remember off the top of my head that led to him leaving there. But yeah, I think he's a good coach.
No more Urban Meyer, having a good time down there.
Oh God, yeah, Urban Meyer. I can't believe that guy's allowed on TV.
I know.
Why is that man still on TV? It doesn't make sense that he can just get into all these problems. And
yeah, I know. Oh, my God.
I guess there's probably some backlash, but you don't hear about it much compared to
No.
A-Rod will get shit still on MLB coverage, and he got caught with some performance enhancing drug stuff, but he's never done the stuff that Urban Meyer's done.
Yeah.
The craziest thing is when you're good as he was, and I bet he'll have another coaching job in the college.
Within
3 years.
Oh yeah, he was out of with the Jags though. He was out of there.
Oh yeah, he was out of his element, I think.
Oh my God.
Hanging out in bars, having some fun. But I think it's been a good week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, hopefully the Steelers can pull out a win. I have much more hope now compared to what I did a couple weeks ago. I think you might be in the same wavelength, but I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be in the 20s. I'm starting to have more faith in the offense. Maybe I'm being blinded by how great the fourth quarter was, but I think they got a shot to put some games together, put some drives together, and actually show something.
Yeah, if they can play like they did in that second half of that Rams game, like I said, I think they can compete with anybody in this league. Like I said, it's going to be a good game going forward. Again, it's another game we can win, but it's another game we can lose as well. So it depends on how they show up and, how they play in this game, against Jacksonville.
Yep. I know. We'll be able to talk about it next week. I'll see you then.
Sounds good.
Uh-huh.
All right.